Connie Irving, thin, almost skeletal, deep circles under her eyes, had an air of overwork to exhaustion about her. "Mrs. Irving, my condolences on your loss," Kay remarked. "Reliving the circumstances of your daughter's death must be extremely painful. I apologize for the need to bring up these excruciating matters again, but as I mentioned on the phone, I have a few questions." "All right." Connie Irving's eyes seemed sunken, ringed with dark shadows. "What do you want to know?" "How is your hand mending?" Kay pointed to the ace bandage wrapped around Connie's hand and forearm. "It still swells up." Dull-eyed, Connie stared at her hand. "Hurts like hell when it does." "On the night your hand was injured," Kay continued, "why did you refuse to enter your daughter's bedroom?" "Did I? I don't remember that," Connie responded, her voice a monotone. Kay glanced toward the kitchen window. "I notice you removed the high chair from this room. Have you cleaned out Darla's bedroom since then? Gotten rid of your daughter's things?" Kay thumbed through papers in a manila file. "You requested permission to do that several times." "Yes." Connie nodded her head, her face expressionless. "Is the room empty? May I see it?" Kay shifted to the edge of her chair as if to stand. "I guess." Connie shrugged her shoulders. "I turned the room back into a study, like before she was born. My Denny always loved that study." "I see." Kay closed the file and placed it on the kitchen table with exaggerated care. "Mrs. Irving, how did you injure your hand?" "What?" Alarm flickered on her brown eyes before she lowered them, seemingly staring at the table's edge. "Don't you have all that in the file? My husband beat me. I called 911. There must be records." Kay folded her hands and leaned them on the table. "Aren't you curious if we've found your husband? You've never asked." "Did you?" Her eyes widened and then narrowed, tracking rapidly back and forth. Flynn worked to interpret her body language. "No desire for vengeance? Hopeful?" "What if we have? Will you be glad to testify against him?" Flynn inquired, intuiting Kay's direction with this, his inflections casual, conversational. "What? No, he didn't mean it. He never means it, you know." Connie wrung her hands and then tugged a strand of stringy brown hair. Kay tensed next to him. "He didn't break your hand, did he?" "No. I mean, yes." Connie wagged her head. "He kept punching. Darla wailed. I was crying, screaming, trying to make him stop." "He did stop, didn't he?" Kay leaned forward, her torso angled over the tabletop. "He stopped hitting you, and he left. He left you alone with the screaming baby. And you shut her up, just like he wanted you to do since the day she was born. But she would never shut up. So he hit you, punished you. You wanted things to go back to the way they were before she was born. And that night, you shut her up for good, didn't you, Connie?" "Stop it! Stop it!" Connie covered her ears, her eyes pinched closed. "You're confusing me. He wouldn't stop. You stop! You stop now!" she screamed. Kay shoved her chair back and stood. Her palms on the table, she leaned forward, straight-armed in Connie's face. "What if we have your husband in custody right now?" "That burly guy Gable brought in yesterday?" Flynn tossed out. "I didn't make the connection until now." "Exactly." Kay straightened, paced a few steps. "We'll charge him with murder in the first degree, whether you testify or not." Kay approached the table and tapped the file with her hand. "We have it all in here. Photos. A long string of beating incidents you reported." Kay rounded the table and dragged her chair directly in front of Connie's. She sat and leaned forward within inches of Connie's face. "He'll go to prison." "Look at me, Connie," Kay demanded. "Do you know what inmates do to baby killers?" A roar sounded, more animal than human. A man charged into the room, barreling into Kay's chair from behind. The momentum crashed Kay's body into Connie's, hurling both women onto the floor and jutting the